Call the meeting to order. Welcome you all here June 8th, 2026, Lima Township Board meeting. We'll start with the pledge of allegiance.
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I want to thank you all for coming. Sorry. At this time, I'll take approval of the agenda.
I move we approve the agenda as submitted.
I'll need a second.
Second.
Moved and second to approve the agenda. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, be it none, motion carried. Approval of the consent agenda. Take a motion to approve that.
Yeah, I did send an email with the revised version of the. Account payable, because that wasn't available on Thursday. If anybody saw that.
Do I have a motion?
I move we approve the consent agenda as submitted with the revised minutes. Anyone?
Can I get a second? I'll second it. Been moved and seconded to approve the consent agenda with the revised minutes. All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Being none, motion carried. Moving on. Public comment. Public comment. When you come up to the platform, state your name and your address. You got 3 minutes. We're doing something a little bit different this meeting on our agenda. Let me explain to you one thing. Through Robert's law, Robert's rule, during public comment, it's not a question you ask in the board because we cannot, by law, answer you. Okay? So that's the way you think we're just blowing you off. So I'm just going by what the rules and laws are. But since the meeting is with this, on our final public comment on the bottom, we have Board of Trustees comments and concerns. That's where we can take answers and we've added that in there for that purpose. Reason why I didn't do it up front, I don't want to be here all night with public comment for 6 hours. So at this point in time, I will allow first public comment, and please come up and address who you are and whatever your address. And anybody going once, going twice, we got one. Young lady, please state your name and address.
Harley Spink, I live 1457 South Lima Township, right down there about a mile. Harley Spink, I live at 1457 South Lima Township. Louder, okay. Louder, okay. Since you have the township hall on your agenda, I feel like it's really important to remind you that 2 years ago, there was a fabulous committee to renovate this town hall, add the offices onto the back, decent bathrooms, all ADA compliant, break room for the election people 2 years ago. And we spent a significant amount of money on the architect. The plans are still out there, and if you're looking in, now that we can't have our election here because the election inspectors say we're not compliant, now is the time to get back to this design that was all done to us and review it. This is your chance.
Thank you. Next.
I'm Snake, same address.
Good to know.
I want to, yes, be special. I want to encourage everybody here to join a Facebook group called Nuance, which stands for Neighbors Against Noxious Consumers. This Facebook group was formed Saturday morning, I think it was. It has a ton of, probably most of the people here are in it, but there's a lot of good information there, including a post this morning from Jeff Barnes, who formed the group that that includes a letter, an anonymous letter to him from somebody involved in the Saline fiasco, the Madison fiasco, and it includes kind of a roadmap for the planning commission of the board to look at what went wrong down there and what to do to try to help things like this power plant that Consumers Energy wants to put down on Lima Road. So there's updates on that thing, so probably 2 or 3 times a day. It's a good sounding board. I encourage y'all to take a look at it.
Thanks, Bob. Anybody else? Yes, sir.
My name's Bill Rotate, 10890 West Hershey Lane off Dancer Road there. And we live all the way down that road, so we're like directly back. We're about 2,000 feet downwind from the proposed power plant. And this power plant, make no mistake, it's going to kill this township. Our property values are going to crash. You're not going to be able to give your house away. We have to defeat this. This is absolutely, we must. We cannot allow them to do this to us. They just waltzed in here. They think, oh, it's Petticoat Junction. I'll just steamroll over these hicks. That's what they think. But we can't allow them to do this, and we need help. We need a lot of help. And we can't do this on our own. We're not equipped. These guys got everything. We got just us, you know? So we need to enlist the aid of others. That's my point. I probably have a lot of other things to say, but I'm pretty worked up about this because I'm real close. My wife is sick. We can't just up and move. This takes away everything for our whole lives. Just think about it. Anyway, don't let them kill our township. You guys here, you're the ones that get to say, oh, we're going to change the zoning and allow you to do it. Don't do it. Fight them. Even if they take us to court, we'll fight them back.
If we don't, I'm not saying.
I know. You can't see anything right now. And I know it's preliminary. They haven't filed anything. We can't reject anything. But the planning commission is going to be faced with this someday. And, you know, they're going to put a lot of pressure on you. Don't let them do it. Don't change that zoning. This is a rural area. This is agricultural. You know, this is not, if they put this in there, that'll be the first industrial place. And say, oh, wow, you've got a power. I bet it's going to Michigan. We can put a chemical plant in there, and so on and so forth. And we're going to turn into downriver Detroit in the 1960s. We couldn't even breathe the air, you know? Anyway, that's my 2 cents.
Thank you.
Thanks, Bill.
Anyone else? Floor is yours.
My name is Lou Rossick, and I live on Pleasant Place here in Lima Township. And I was just surprised to see that there's a meeting coming up on the 24th between Lima and Sylvan Township regarding light industrial and housing. And I just can't understand why we are having to coincide with each other or talk caboodle with each other about our zoning at all. I don't understand that one. And I did have a real estate license since the 70s. I haven't kept up my license right now. But anybody tries to sell, you have to disclose what's going on in this township. So it's kind of like if anybody thinks, oh, we're going to just hurry up and sell, you have to disclose. And if you don't, and your new owner finds out, it might turn upside down for you. Let's let you know that since you mentioned about things that's what my experience has been. I came from Marion Township in Hull where we wanted to put a 50-year dump in one of the farms, within 3 miles of my house, and that's what you do have to disclose almost. And fortunately, with all the people there that we had to help to generate waste management, which is not a small company, they gave up on it. That land is still vacant to this day. So I know we can do it. We can give it a heck of a try. So I just want to let you know that.
Thank you. Anyone else with public comment?
I'm Susan Olivia, I live on North Lima. Two things. I was here a month ago after the tornadoes had swept through the area asking about more sirens in the township. I hope that moves forward. And number two, also very concerned about this power plant that could not only cause health concerns, noise concerns, pollution concerns, and I found in my junk drawer, my own decibel reader. I had dealings with the township when we had trouble with noise pollution from a wedding event person. And currently, I read that Celine asked for a decibel reading of under 55 decibels. And currently, with the parents going in here and my speaking in a normal tone of voice, it's 72 decibels. So, in the book, that's what oh, I'm sorry. That's what it is. But also to talk about the sound. Many of us do not have or do not wish to use air conditioning because of the cost of air conditioning. I have my windows open from spring to fall. I have windows, and then the pollution will seep into the screen windows. So I have to take all these concerns into consideration. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay.
My name is Karen Fellows. Address 9262 Gross Road, Dexter. My concern would be, this is a rural township. My great grandparents came to this township in 1923. It is a farming community. I grew up in this township. It's a farming community. That's why a lot of people move here, and that's why a lot of people want to stay here. So I encourage you on the emotional side, leave us rural.
Any more public comments?
Ben Harvester, 8264 Cypress Way. I live in Thornton Farms down the road. I'm on the board there. I'm also against the Consumers Energy Power Plant. But different from that matter is the matter regarding the $200,000 that Lima Township agreed to pay us. I understand you had a meeting on May 14th regarding the consent judgment. We haven't heard any communication on our side regarding what has transpired. I would like to be put on the agenda for July, unless there is something that has happened since the May 14th meeting that we're not aware of. But just to give everybody a little background, I see some folks from Thornton Farms here, a lot not. But in addition to the property taxes in Lima Township, everybody in Thornton Farms pays an assessment annually. It goes to Lima Township. We came here in 2023 because we needed to build a second water tank. And we asked to draw from that fund to the tune of $200,000. The Lima Township Board voted unanimously 5-0 to approve that $200,000 to be paid upon completion of the second water tank. We completed the water tank, which ended up costing about $630,000. We requested the $200,000, and we received an email back from the Lima Township Board saying that they weren't going to pay it because the verbiage of the motion was deemed illegal by Fred Lucas, the Lima Township attorney, who coincidentally was also the Lima or Saline Township attorney that got him into this mess with the data center. So essentially, we're waiting for this $200,000. We're kind of getting stonewalled, and I just want to make sure that we're informed of what's going on, and I'd like to be put on the agenda for July so we can discuss the matter to make sure that we get some type of resolution on the matter.
Thank you. Any more public comments? All right, seeing none, we'll move on to the meeting. Public comments, all right, reports. Treasury, Nanette Stevens.
As I passed out the report in the end of May, and on the back of it, I also attached the settlement report from the county. Everything was exactly what I turned in down to the penny, so I don't know what took them so long, but they finally agreed with me and I wrote the final checks. The bills are getting ready to go out. I have just about everything on them, so they should be out by the end of June.
Any questions for Nanette? Seeing none, we'll move on to zoning administration. Mariano left his, don't see him here tonight. Left his report. Greg, if you'd like to.
Our zoning administrator issued 8 compliance permits and 4 special permits for signs, fences, etc. There were no new addresses in the last month or enforcement of violations. No specific. I can provide it.
Thank you. CACA, Delta Area Construction Authority. Yes.
No, like,
Oh, I always skip him.
and
Wait.
you should have a copy.
Yeah, I got a copy.
In the minutes in your packet. Anybody have any questions? For those of you who don't know, we are representative on the Wage Board of Directors. I'm it. So anyway, anybody have any questions on that?
Greg, what can they do with that conversation? Are they still conversing over what they're gonna get,
Yeah.
like side contract and
Yes.
Dexter?
Yeah.
Okay.
That means, the problem with SIO, they have a transportation village.
Right.
And actually, it's weird. The transportation millage actually goes to AATA, which is where most of the wave funding comes through from the state as well. So this is part of that. It goes even so that's part of the deal. It's trying to keep that moving from SIO to AATA and back to where.
Same with Dexter then? With the city of
No, they don't. The city of Dexter? No.
Dexter? It's a compensation.
Yes, but that is based on the ask, similar to what you do in Chelsea. There's no millage from Dexter. The SIO is to my knowledge, is the only one that has a transportation village by the township. And the fact that it goes to AATA is really weird. I think.
Any other question? Now, Delta Area Construction Authority.
Yeah, we haven't had any meetings. The next meeting is June.
Cemeteries, who else?
Everything's been okay with
Good for mowing. People get to you, what were they, from California?
They went from June 17th.
Yeah. And now, is the gate down here, is that locked? Is it accessible if they wanted to go and?
Yeah, it's not locked.
All right, that was what I just wanted to, that's,
What was their concern?
they have a
a family member is buried in there. And
Yeah, they can go in there.
visit,
Okay, oh,
you
all
know,
right.
great sidewalk here.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of the thing. That if you
Public access,
just for
right?
visiting, you can't go take a, just like Oak Grove, there's probably people walking through there, because that's not really what it's for.
Yeah.
It's for to go and visit and like,
Yeah,
so
all right.
that's the same with every center. So, yeah.
Okay, Patricia Garcia sent us a, email, there's nothing really, going on with Chelsea District Library right now, they're at some camp. Planning Commission, then that,
Yep, I went to the meeting in May, and we had a public hearing for gas station over on Pleasant Road. And what they're doing is doubling the size, almost doubling the size of the little store on the back of it. They're not really I don't think they're increasing the pumps. And as far as their site plan, their drives have to be okay by Washington Commission, and they haven't done that yet. And the lighting needs to be reduced. The ones things are fixed on their plans, which should be nice.
Nice.
that would be.
As far as the recycling, we still don't know if it's going to be there or not.
No,
Running out of that, okay. Any other questions for Ness? Okay, joint municipal area planning commission, yeah.
So, just because somebody asked a question about this. Lima and Sylvan have a 425 agreement for the land that is between 152 and Freer Road, south of 94. So we have a joint planning commission, and we are in the process of doing a master plan just for that region, which I think is about 200 acres. And the reason we went into this is because Chelsea was looking at expanding into that area. That was one of the drivers, because they could bring the water there. Sylvan could bring the water to the Lima side, so we entered into this 425 to a land transfer agreement where Sylvan will provide the water, and then we would jointly develop that area if something comes up. We're still in the early phases of that, so there is an open house on June 24th specifically for what will happen in that area. And the commission is looking for feedback from people in the area on what you want to see. And yes, some options would be industrial or commercial or residential or open space. So if anybody's interested in providing feedback there, that's on Wednesday the 24th at 6 p.m. in Sylvan.
Any more questions for Ann? Okay, Western Washtenaw County Recycling Authority, and that,
We met at the Dexter Township Hall. Normally in the summertime, we meet out at the facility on Woodview Road. But this year they decided to change it, so the next two meetings, we will meet in July. We'll meet this month out there in August, and then September we'll be back in the city. Mark Williams, our foreman out there, and that was Sylvan Township on Thursday, but I haven't heard of. They're going to put it in, and they're not. Right now, they're not in the letter as far as saying they're going to be able to pay millage that with them. Everybody in the township should have received a letter from the county about the public hearings in, I think it's June and July. And the $35 assessment fee will probably go on the bills in December.
yeah, I mean,
Haven't heard anything about.
social media blowing up with just, where do we go? Where do we-
That's true, because even in the city, even though they pay the separate millage, a lot of the city people also need to benefit.
Okay, any other questions for Annette? All right. Kappa, Chelsea Area Fire Authority. Ron, are you here tonight? No? Okay. Okay, Chelsea Area Fire Authority. Um, they're taking, millage you guys all had to go through. They've got talking 12 interns right now to be hired in for firefighters. They're still going through it, the ambulance. Um, the house was purchased just west of the fire department, and that's where they're gonna put their the future fire department, and they'll probably be within 7 years. Um, The other one was gonna be off of Freer Road, and we didn't want two fire departments in Freer Road. That way the whole west side of Chelsea couldn't have been taken care of. So that's why we stuck with where they're at. Any questions? Okay, clerk's report. Yeah.
Yeah, so we're getting ready for the August election. Deputy Clerk and I attended Bureau of Elections election preparation training last week in Lima Township. We've seen the ballot groups, we have to approve those. The ballots are going to be printed soon. June June 25th is when absentee ballots have to be to me in the office. And then Cheryl and I will start preparing them to send out, so I expect to see, if you're on the permanent ballot list, to see your absent ballots coming in early July. Still looking for some election workers for August, so if anybody's interested, see me and I can get you an application for working the August 4th election. We're ready for the audit. That work was completed in May, so that's happening on June 25th. And there was something else I added to the packet today. For future, the SNA will be at some point in time moving all of us from we have now to the cloud, and at some point it's going to not be a choice. They're trying to get everybody done by the end of 2028. So I asked them to tell me what that's going to cost us. So this is just an initial proposal from them that we're going to have to work into the budget sometime possibly next year.
Can this be done now?
Can it be done now? It can be done anytime. They might.
Okay.
And he made a point, because he called me today, that there's 3 payments, so a lot of townships will spread it over multiple years, so we can pay the first payment now to get on the list for 2027 and we're going to stay, so we can get the proper timing, because it is disruption and a lot of people want to time that appropriately, particularly around tax season, so we're not trying to run taxing audit.
Okay. Any questions for Ann?
Oh, one other thing I want to mention. Are you going to mention the fire marshal?
Yeah.
Okay.
Supervisor's report. Met with rural safety on the sirens. In the next 2 to 3 weeks, you'll see it on the website. We're going to have Lima's going to have its own Facebook page. It'll be voted on there, so we don't know when, but once I hear and understand there'll be a test, we're trying to figure out where the best position to have it in the township. Height is the big thing. The more the higher up. I'm just getting
Where did you go? Your website?
Real safety. The one I was trying to get a grant from. Okay. Okay. Also had a meeting with the attorneys and our planner last week. Putting things together. We're not acting like we're sitting on our fingers here. Had a long, okay, and I brought up at the meeting Monday about land preservation. Had long meetings with Washtenaw County Land Conservancy. Had long meetings with Conservation District, Huron River Watershed. What we're going to do is we're going to put a meeting together, and we're going to invite all landowners from Lima, Sylvan, Linden and Chelsea. It will be based in Chelsea. Don't have a date yet, but what it is going to do is going to educate everybody on every land preservation that's out there, from P Act 116 to conservation easements to PDR to farm and ranch land protection. There's so much, and that's what bothers me because whether you know it or not, we had Teaser property that Chelsea was going. I talked to them. It was too late. Denise Thompson, she had the option. It was too late. So I'm just putting this out there. Other townships have it as far as they have ordinances that, and if you, I don't want to say the word millage. Um, but what it does go into an escrow account because with these, for land preservation, there's several different entities that contribute to it. And what it does is it takes the price of ag land, price of residential land, pays you the difference. And that's what it is, and it's forever. And so what it is you get a chunk of cake, you have your cake and eat it too, another way of looking at it. I did have another long talk with consumers. They're concerned because I don't think you guys understand what exactly took place last Monday. But that meeting was called as a special meeting for this building. I threw that in there with Consumers Energy because of the social media noise, and I thought it would concern my residents. 3 people at Consumers Energy that might not have that. But what took place was something they don't normally do. And we got a leg up. What is happening there? We have a leg up because we have time to react. And I'm sorry I didn't make your meeting. I was told to stay away. Kind of like the Huron River watershed. I don't know how many of you guys live to, or the Huron Clinton Metropolitan Parks Committee, what happened back in the 70s. The township board was told to stay away, let the residents come forward. That's what I am doing with you. And communication is a must. And I'm not going to sit here and make a wish list of what we want from consumers' power. That's the last damn thing I'm going to do, or any of us on this board. And with your help and our legal help, we'll fight. So I did have a meeting with the city of Chelsea to make sure they were on board with this conservation program. I had a meeting with Sylvan and Linden Townships. Been real busy with CAPA. Had a meeting with MDOT. Had a meeting with Michigan Department of Agriculture, because that's where all of this stuff starts. We've got land in farm ranch land protection, but that's been a long time, so I had to re-educate myself on that. Been working on the depot down here, trying to get that ready. I got a meeting coming up Wednesday with WWRAG, Western Washtenaw County Regional Authority Group. Very cool group. It's all supervisors in the area, all mayors and city managers. We get to sit down and we brainstorm what we want to happen in our western Washtenaw towns. Rural safety. Talk to you about the cemetery. Some of these things I want to bring up, and I'm just going to plant a seed today. We're looking into a fertilizer ordinance. Peace Farmer is totally out of it, but it's something I've been fighting for on the conservation board for 16 years. It helps to clean our rivers and ditches out where don't need to put as much fertilizer. You'll see, we'll get it rolled out for you. Also, these are seeds that we're planting, and I'm glad you guys are all here. Talking to other townships in the area who have looked into it, and it's called single hauler. I don't know how many of you guys have sat back and watched how many trash trucks go by your day, go by your house in a week. Okay, I know by my house, I can count them 6, 7 a week. With a single hauler, it's one trash company gets the lowest bid, And it usually is, when it's come back in Dexter Township and other townships who have done it, the bids come in lower than what you paid for pickup today. And it's better on our roads, better on our bridges. God knows you gotta be nice to our bridge. Oh my God, Wiley Road. I'm gonna tell you the same thing I've told those 4 people. Washington County Road Commission has an app. You got a smartphone, download that damn thing and use it. It's free. If you see a tree down, a pothole, whatever, because calling me, they get sick of hearing from me, okay? But if they hear from everybody, and the people who answer those websites are there 24/7, to where when I call, they wait and send me the answer machine. So I've been telling everybody, download that www whatever Washington County Road Commission. It's free, and best thing they ever did besides scrape our road. Met with the fire marshal this morning. We got to upgrade our food truck policies coming up, and we're going to talk about that in a while. Thornton Farms, we're, at this point in time, we are waiting to hear back from the attorneys. Our attorneys haven't heard from your attorneys. That's what we're waiting for. That is exactly the proof. But I wanted to tell you guys, I appreciate that your residents meet. That is cool. I see, as a board, we got to have a quorum. And if you invite us to a party, we're not going to sit by each other because you'll be thinking we're having a meeting. So that's why I got to be careful and make sure that I'm not showing up when 2 other board members that can't have a quorum. And it's, well, that's my report. That's what I did last month. I took Sunday off, sorry. Okay, moving along. Unfinished business. Township Hall. Ken, are you here?
Yeah.
Would you like to approach the?
Ken Breda, 8840 West Liberty Road. I know the township has been throwing this around about the hall for years. And I think now, especially with the commission, the election commission proving this unfit, I think it's time. We had a small meeting with a gentleman, he pays taxes in our township. He has a construction company. He's willing to work with the township and not want to make a ton of money. He wants the township to have a good hall. Whether it be this one or on the new property, we got the new property. That's what it was bought for, was a town hall. So I think it's time that we move forward. I know people have questions, they want other input from other engineers or whatever, but he can do the whole thing. And if that's fine, if somebody else wants, it's only fair, it's equal, then it's across the board. It's not this guy was given preferential treatment. So he owns Brevard Construction in Brighton. He's done a lot of commercial building. Still is very active. It'll be a good haul. But for when we can't even pass to have an election in the hall we have, it's kind of disheartening as a resident that this isn't getting moved forward. Me and my wife opened our business a little over 20 years ago. And the first thing we were told was we couldn't do it until we had a handicap bathroom accessible. And that cost us building a new business. It was a fair amount of money, but we did it because that's what we had to do, and that's what the township wanted. But now, I mean, it's kind of disheartening for me that 20 years later, the township can't even hold an election in their own building because
not ADA accessible. So I think we need to push it. As a board, you guys need to work together and we got to figure out how to approach it. If we want more engineers, that's fine, but it's time to move forward with it. No more bickering about who gets what or what's what. We just got to do it. And I mean, we're not going to wait, especially with like consumers, what they want to do. We got to be a strong township. And to me, this doesn't project us as a strong township. So,
Yeah, got any questions? Anybody has any questions? What we need to do is get together and have that presentation
yes,
amongst the board again.
Yep. And that's very willing. He's willing to do that so that we had a small presentation with two, so we weren't a quorum or nothing, but the rest of you, we can figure it out. So if you want to meet, listen to what he says. He's going to work with the township. He's not going to. The borings that were done on the property was for septic and where it was for leach bed and that, but there still need a few borings for building what's underneath the building, which all that kind of stuff he can do work with the township. So, any questions?
I think that an architect needs to look at the plan again. I remember that a lot of people were against the plans that were drawn up.
Yes, yes.
And
Well,
I think
that's
that
what-
has to go back to square one. And not only that, but the property, I don't understand how much of it can be built on. Is there a lot of low area?
Well, it's on the southwest side, west side. There's plenty of room over there to build the town hall.
I know they spent a lot of money on property that doesn't seem like that is.
No, there's plenty of room over there.
But we were also talking about adding another building for commercial, but it
There's
doesn't seem like that.
Probably, what's it, 6 acres that's buildable.
Over there, 6 acres
Yeah.
usually, then the rest of it.
And how much did you pay for it, 400,000? Is that correct?
What's that?
How much did you pay for that?
425.
425.
But it's total how many acres? 6.9.
But how much is usable?
Well, there's a lot of people wetland there. Yeah.
There's okay. Yeah. So, all right.
But it's an option, that's all I'm saying. Property's there, it's paid for.
Just like the one we drew up as an option.
Right, it is. So I think it's time we move forward one way or another and get it figured out.
I would agree, because that's what I voted for.
Right, exactly. So,
All right.
Bill, this question and answer now?
No, not for now.
I thought you took the question out.
No, yeah. Flipped up.
yeah,
Just don't know if it was blocked for that.
It's just being presented to the board at this time.
right, which they're all front.
Yeah.
We're there up front.
So what we'll do is
Go ahead. That's our presentation.
Yeah.
Offer it.
Thanks, Ken. Okay, new business.
I get
Okay,
We have a board discussion.
sure.
well, a number of things, but I guess if, I don't know, we met with, Ken and Rybar, that, you provided this to us last month,
Yeah.
which was an option, and that's fine. I think that's great. We can listen to him because I think that's one of the options we're gonna have to discuss no matter what we get, which is the delivery system, whether we wanna do as we had done before, which was an architect, which we are design, bid, build. Rybar is, I don't know, probably can go either way, or design build. I mean, that's a discussion that the board's gonna have to come to grips with. Whatever we choose to do, that delivery system, But I think that the first thing this board's going to have to decide is where we're going to build. We've got plans for here, we've done here, whether we incorporate this, whether we do it on the land that was purchased a number of years ago, that we've done a lot of investigation, upgraded the road, we've got wetland survey, Southwest Opal survey, we've got multiple options of layout for the building down there as well as here. So before we can even talk to anybody about doing anything, we have to pick.
Yeah.
Just, that's what it comes down to. We got to pick. And from that point, then we can decide on the delivery system. And we probably, since time has passed, we probably need to revisit the program, make sure that we have the spaces we need. I know we have more of an issue with deputy clerk. At some point, we might have a treasurer, a deputy treasurer in the office more, to make sure we have adequate space and the program is still valid. We certainly have investigated, in my opinion, virtually limitless options on what to do and how to proceed. And I agree with Ken's sentiment. It's time to pick. We have the money, nothing, so people who have not been part of this, be aware, we've been diligently saving money to do whatever. And no one on any of the boards in the examination in the last 15 years, sure, has planned or has never mentioned that we would do anything that would cut township services or increase taxes or cause the township to go into debt. We handled very carefully all of that, including when we purchased the other site. And the board says to go there, then we have this site to sell. Or if we choose to go here, we can probably sell the other side. But we have multiple options on both sites. And I think we've all heard them. Some of us have heard them for 20 years, some of us for lesser times. I don't think there's any mystery to the options. And I think said it, it's time to pick. I think we will set a meeting to have that discussion. And if we want to have Rybar give us an overview from their standpoint, I think that would help all of us. You can explain the delivery systems that are available no matter where we go. That whether it's design build, whether it's design bid build, which is what we did at that site, and what we ended up doing with this architects. That's where we've been. Design build is another option that, especially when we're involved, probably Bill, you probably knew a guy, and the ability of options. Anyway,
Okay.
I think this behooves sit down and say, okay,
Time.
let's make some picks.
Well, let me question, is the building, fund, is that separate from money that we might need for, attorney? Also, I'm thinking that unfortunately for the festival crew, we're gonna have a bigger fire department and police. It's gonna change the county or the township dramatically.
We'll do that during board discussion up there and talk about that.
So I just have one thing to add, Greg. I agree with what Greg says. I think you said the first thing is figuring out where we're going to build. That's the key. I would also really like to set a budget up front rather than start with, oh, it's going to be this much. Oh, well, maybe we're going to do this. I don't like the creep in the scope, and so I would really like as part of that to set a budget. Are we going to spend $1 million? Are we going to spend $2 million? We've got some. So as part of that discussion that we have, I think in addition to that, as a first step would also be setting a budget for this. So we have an idea of decided to scope the project up front, so we're not planning improvement road.
So we want to coordinate essentially with Drybar.
Yeah, we'll do that.
So set a special public special meeting so we can all be there to talk together, not two of us.
We can do that. Have to get a hold of him and then we'll set a time together.
And make a motion to table any constructive action today
Probably have a,
on the township hall and coordinate a presentation with Drybar Construction. And set a public, set a special meeting for that.
that's your motion.
Kind of convoluted, yes.
Okay, I got a second on that.
I'll tell you.
Okay, it's moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Seeing none, motion carried. Okay, next, resolution for, property tax authorization to. Nanette.
So during the budget discussion, we discussed reducing the administration fee from 1% to 5%. I wanted to do away with it entirely, but I guess we might be able to get a 0.5% instead of 1%. That's the option.
And why can't we go to nothing?
And we have costs associated with
Well, we have no money to pay for it.
it. Pay for it.
That's my opinion.
We have money.
Well, the concern I have now, even more so, we discussed it in the budget hearing, is we want to make sure that we're not taking those costs, including foreign foreign costs with our tax collection for that special assessment. My question is, are we going to be facing some general fund attorney fees? And we don't want to make sure that collection fees feed into the general fund that we might want additional money. So notice that Chelsea just then reaffirmed their 1%. We had the 1%. Did you happen to check on that? Where the townships do that? Did you check on that?
I just had questions from several people in the paper taxes about using it.
I understand, and we all want to reduce taxes for all of us, but I have a little bit of a concern. A good focus off or see what happens. So we feel like that we really can't. Certainly, we're all in favor of less tax. That's a good question with that.
So what I'm saying, not to do anything with it.
That would be my choice today, yes. Or that put it on this table. That would be my choice, I guess, yes.
I'm going to offer the resolution that we have in our packet. Modify the Lima Township property tax administration fee from 1% to 0.5%.
Any discussion?
I'm just going to point out that in the resolution that we drafted, the third paragraph, that should be 2003, not 2023.
Okay.
But it was 2003 when we adopted the one. I'll make that correction on the final version. We do need a roll call, right? So that's the roll call.
Yeah.
Aye.
Aye.
Benji?
Nay.
last week.
Motion carried. Next is the rental lease on depot down here. Put a lot of work into it. Got people that wanted lease it. It went through a lot of leasing for residential and went through 4. And finally, I know it's a conflict of interest, but my daughter came forward and wants to put a bookstore there. And I can't argue with that. She's a resident of this township. And it's sitting there, so that's what's going on down there. We just got to come up with a lease for it. There were some adjustments we wanted to make to it.
Well, I guess the first thing is the lease term is not in there.
Right.
2 years, 3 years, 5 years.
Well, we're just going over the lease right now. You wanted to make some changes like the garage.
Well, one is the term. The other is just on the premises. There was no mention about the garage.
So that
Already there. The garage is part of the lease. Probably say they have use of that.
Yeah.
If they want it.
I'm assuming we did that as the residential money.
I suppose that we need to. So at the garage, if that's part of the lease, if we include it, the term, definitely want to do that. Since they're wanting commercial rather than residential, parking probably the permanent number of spaces.
That's we determined it with the fire marshal and everything down there.
Yeah, how many spaces they're allowed to have, so they don't conflict with the fire department for backing and turning. I don't know how many they think they want or need, or how many are zoning ordinance are required. Mariano been waiting on that for
I think it was 6.
anyway, they probably should say how many they have.
I think the draft was good, but I have no idea.
Whatever, that's fine. And then the other thing, under the upkeep, there's no mention of extra at the end of 20, or the 20, lawn maintenance, snow plowing. I don't know, Dale, do you mow it? Do you plow it? Or what do we do?
I think if it's
I was
gonna,
just gonna-
I used to plow
Did you plow it?
a lot. Yeah, and charge for it, I did with a renter. It mows it all the time.
Yeah.
We're paying for that now.
Yeah, I mean, I guess we need to decide whether the tenants mows it, that's long, or the snow removal, or if we.
Yeah.
I assume Dwayne's not gonna do it for free forever.
I would assume that would be the
Might not be here forever.
Well, there's that. So anyway, I guess we need to figure that out. We're doing it. Out of our rent. I don't know what we do, whether we're a resident. Sounds like snowballing, but not.
We are not paying for
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I
Is
did.
it, are your lawn guys work, you know, has he been mowing it?
Yeah, he's been mowing it.
So,
We added it at the board.
Yeah,
so it's part of our contract currently.
I mean, with the previous renter, he was supposed to take care of it. But now that we don't, I mean, it's being taken, it's being mowed. I know, but I'm saying that since they're gone, that's why we had our lawnmower service up there.
Then I guess the only other thing, Bill, you mentioned it, is the daughter, one of the two people. I don't know that, but you sent it. Conflict with 44, with less than that, not real sure. If you're not part of it, probably not. I think you mentioned it. Those are my comments. Other than that,
Do we know what we're talking, a 1-year lease or that?
No, this is what I need the lease to discuss it to see what we wanted to do.
Oh, if you
Now to
understand.
find out about the barn and snow going lawn care. For the questions that need to be addressed. And then, if so, then that's, um,
for what you're saying, we're gonna table it till you get those answered, and then we can approve, unless anybody has objection to be a commercial. I don't.
It's zoned, what is it?
Village commercial.
Commercial.
I mean, I don't have a problem with it being commercial, it's commercial in the past.
Yeah.
I mean, can we approve it with a minimum 1 year, or the 1 to 5 year lease? We want to get all the.
Now, unless we're gonna dictate.
Sounded like he wanted to make sure of some of the detail.
So don't, do you want to get back to them and let us know?
Yeah, that's all good. Well, they're supposed to be here, but they're at the city council meeting tonight. So, take the motion to do whatever you want.
Sounds like the same. Table.
Yeah. I'll move we table this until the board has found out some of the details of the agreement.
Second,
Here, support.
moved and seconded, any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, being none. Motion table. Okay. Next is township social media. The reason why this was brought up is because township needs its own social media page to address the public in a form and honest way. I think it's needed. I don't know what to call it. Do it.
What I'm seeing is that a lot of people on Facebook are actually, when our meetings are not really informed, they don't go to the website, all of the information is always listed on our website. But people are used to getting their information on
Social media. Yeah.
So the question is, does the board want to have a Facebook page to also share meeting agenda, such a meeting, update?
I mean, that's the forum that you'd suggest, it's Facebook.
Well, it's a page which would go out. You can make it on TikTok, Instagram.
Well, I mean, we're not covered all, are we?
Yeah, it basically would. I mean, yes, you have the same, if you can jump it.
I would just, I personally would just pick Facebook.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, yeah, it all depends on the age group, because some of the young kids do not like Facebook. It's an old person thing, if I'm understood right.
Well, I guess it's fine, I think it's great, but who's gonna administer, Vicky? Who's gonna post stuff on it? Who's gonna know?
Yeah, I mean, it has to be kept up. You can't have it, and it's not, if it's not, being
Well,
maintained.
it would be an events page. There would be
I know, somebody has to do it.
It's not that hard.
Somebody has to do it. Easy or not.
I might as well, I'll do it on Sundays.
Well, I'm not saying you should do it. We can hire somebody
I'm
to
just
do it.
saying, it's a way of communication, and it needs to be addressed and needs to be done, and if it needs.
And it has to have some kind of a format.
Well, yeah, I mean, it doesn't really need.
What we're gonna put on
It's a
there.
name. Basically,
If
all
we're
it is.
just sharing the same information that's on the website, I can do that, because I put all in one place. If it becomes more than that, and you're doing a little more
Because
community
it could be
engagement, then
official
that's gonna
site, so
require a lot more.
We probably
Instead of
can't answer
people-
things on it, can we?
what's that?
We shouldn't be answering things on it.
Yeah, you can comment and make an answer.
I know you can, but should we?
It depends on what the question
Well,
was.
if somebody says what time is meeting tonight, you can answer that. I think they're like, what are we talking to the lawyer about?
Yeah. So,
I mean, if we get back. I
I think motion.
don't.
I'm not the guy that knows about it. I don't have a problem with it. I just don't get it.
Okay.
All right, I'll make a motion to create an official Lima Township Facebook page to share. To share same information as is provided on the website.
I second it.
Say, put a topic on the milk. You assign it to your deputy or you assign it to Vicky or the board.
That's fine, I mean, as long as it's maintained by the clerk, it doesn't mean it's like that.
Or topic. Yeah, people.
Okay. Motion on the table, been seconded, all in favor, say aye.
Second.
I did, because I was done waiting. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Seeing none, motion carried. We are now at the final public comment. I hope all your questions have been answered. Don't everybody raise your hand
Yeah,
at
this is
once.
pretty much us.
Oh, okay.
Hi, I live in that, at 8830 West Liberty. I'm Denise Freeland, and I do have a question for the board.
Yeah.
When the motion for cutting the administration fee by 0.5%, how much did you just take out of the budget?
60,000?
About 60,000. So you,
What's 100?
so the board voted to take $60,000 out of the budget.
The budget was actually approved at 0.5%, which is making it, I did on the resolution.
I
We
would
had to discuss it.
Yeah, back.
Well, I'm not-
Good as revenue. Okay, but.
So, but it changed the revenue. Is that correct? It decreased the revenue that the town has will now get. So noted. In regards to social media, I think it's good that it's on social media for your township meetings and things like that. The keyboard warriors need to be careful, because that can be used legally against the township. If there's anyone from the board or anyone from a planning commission or a zoning administration that makes remarks on that, that can all be brought to court. So be very cautious on what is said on social media going into a problem with our township. That's all I have.
Thank you, Denise. Any other questions? Yes.
Rich Cox, 1250 Gunther. Conversation that we just had about the lease on that building is, I wasn't going to speak tonight, but the way that should be leased through Springfield or Collier have nothing to do with any voice vote here. That leads me to the problem we're going to address ourselves with a group of people that take land like this and build power plants for a living. We have got to make sure that we have legal representation. We need to find some specialists. So I will reach out to you guys directly when my buddies get back to me, find the guys to talk to. I don't know, you say you're having conversations with consumers power and don't worry about it, you're doing this and that. I think the gravity of the situation needs to be made clear. We can't be leasing the building, it's probably not ADA compliant without a lease who can't, boggles my mind that that's the way that we're talking to them. We're gonna get rolled over. So I'm not, with all due respect to the jobs you guys are doing, I understand. But that was just a little bit of folly that makes me very nervous. You can't be that loose. I mean, I understand, it has nothing to do with the fact that you're not. If it's something that the township owns, legal liability, legal opportunity to open ourselves up to without legal representation of justice for a living. So it concerns me greatly. And I think that we need,
We went through a fire marshal inspection and health department inspection. So,
did it go through a change of use process?
oh,
Did it go,
well, no, it's whatever, village commercial.
that's very great. And that might just be, I'm just using that as an example of how we cannot behave when we're talking about talking and openly talking on social media. There's going to be scrutiny that most people in this room are on YouTube. And these guys do it for a living. When you school on them, they're just what they do. They're going to be on it. They're going to be paying attention. They've got somebody they're hiring to read our stuff and follow it. I mean, it's not. And if we bump and we bump in the correct way, we make it like, hey, don't go here because it's like a stinging nest. We might get a chance of them not coming. But other than that, so I think that we really need to take this a level of seriousness. That it could completely impact. The reason we moved here is because we didn't think we'd get natural gas. They wouldn't pay our roads, and that's going to all change. So like I said, again, I'm a little wound up because of just a little bit, because I think that the people that are coming to do this for a living, do it for a living every day. They're going to be on to the next one, they're going to be on to the next one, and it's everywhere. It's all over the country. So I'd say that some of the information that was posted on the site, let's review that. Let's look at other communities. Let's look at Boulder right now. Let's look at Utah, where the guy gave money for a park and put the plan. Let's look at the legal precedents around the country and get ahead of it. And you understand what is going to happen. Now, you may know some information the rest of us don't. You can't tell us. You had the conversation with the guys. Unless they said we're going to withdraw from this agreement and we're going to get out of this purchase agreement we have on this plan. We're going to give the rights up and then immediately stop on that resources, which sounds like you're doing, to get that locked up in some of the easement. Give them the cash they were convention. I think that's about enough. My concern is great. That we need to present this, understanding what our legal rights at the township are and doing nothing outside of that. And getting to the point where they don't ever present us with a proposal to build something. We don't want it to ever come before the board. It does kill them. So the time is now to make them not bring a proposal to us. We don't want them to sign a paper and ask for it. Because then it's done. There's nothing we can do. So that's what I got.
I'm going to explain myself.
No.
No? Okay, any more public comment?
Hi there, my name's Elaine. I live at 820 South Hampton Road. And I like everyone here and moving to really like this house. Appreciate your comments. And I really think both from a PR perspective for the township, if we're going to have a public facing portal on Facebook, which is not a bad idea for engagement. I heard you say at the last meeting that you need more people involved in committees. And Facebook is a really great way to do that. I forget that there's a website and forget to look, but I scroll through Facebook a couple times a day. So I feel like that's a great idea, but we need professional help to help us strategize that. So putting it up as a bulletin board right now is a great start, but don't anyone say anything until we have a PR plan and somebody who understands communication. And then I would also encourage you all
I'm grateful for all the work you're doing and your commitment to this township. I've not been involved in the 25 years I've lived here, and I'm here to be involved now. Um, but we need you all to be aware of all the conversations that are happening on the other Facebook pages that exist. Nuance group that have started. There are people who are very smart, brilliant people doing research. They don't want to be named, but they're lining things up and putting information out there for us to reflect on. So is it the right thing to do? That's not my job to tell you, but I'm really just asking that you stay engaged and aware with what the community is already talking about.
Hi, my name is Michael Drew. I live at 11962 Sykes Drive, just over there. A couple of things. Uh, is it Richard? Yeah, Richard, and is it Jack? Yeah. Have really been working hard and have a lot of good things to say, and I agree with a lot of what Richard just said in terms of, for us here in Lima Township, this is something new, something we have to educate ourselves on. This process of fighting consumers and dealing with them, whatever you want to say. For them, it's a Monday. They do this all day, every day. They're good at it. They know what they're doing. Practice. We are not practiced. We are not informed. So we need to get informed. We need to get the right representation. Otherwise, they're going to prevail. That's the bottom line. And if they do prevail, I think we need to be ready with a wish list of things that we want, like what Celine ended up getting. When they swore they would fight it, they tried to fight it, and then they were told, look, it's going to be expensive, it's going to take a long time, so the board just collapsed and said, okay, we give up. I think you've got the roadmap for what's likely to happen. The other thing is, I think it was about 3 years ago, I went to a meeting in Scioto Township when they were arguing about their single trash hauler contract. And I would encourage any of you with friends or acquaintances in Scioto Township to ask them how the single hauler system has worked for them, because it hasn't. It's a disaster. It's an absolute disaster. And you just have to ask the residents how it's been going, and it's been going terrible. And the way it works is if you don't pay your garbage, you have to use that hauler. I don't know what model you guys are considering, but they basically made everybody in the township either use that hauler and didn't even give them an option to opt out if they don't have garbage. I don't have garbage collection. Does anybody else in here not have garbage collection right now? Okay, well, if you lived in South Township, you'd be paying for it regardless. So, welcome to one system. So, I think you really need to revisit that. I don't think that's a good solution. And by the way, it didn't cut down on the number of garbage trucks going up and down the road. That's a fallacy. That was one of the arguments they used there. So, talk to people in South Township. If you want to email me, I can direct you to a group. They have a whole group where they talk about all the problems that they have. And so it's all documented. It's Scioto's a nightmare. And the garbage is one part of it.
My name's Ben Rittinger, 12001 Jackson Road, just down the street here. I don't think I have anything to say that anybody else had already said here better. I just want to say it again. So I just want to urge the board to get as much help as we can, get as many resources as we can to fight the power plant. I'm not an expert. I read through our zoning ordinances. We have stuff in there about data centers. We have stuff in there about solar farms, wind farms, energy storage. We have anything about fossil fuel generation. So I think that's something we can address. Just want to emphasize the timeline on that. Like you said, we're ahead of it. I just really want us to stay ahead of it. Really don't want to end up like the data centers. So with everyone who said after the fact, while it's going in and the news media is just celebrating it because they didn't get the whole story. They only get what the money paid to get out there. So, and just one last point, if we don't get this fight right now, Consumers has already said that there's transmission lines and gas on that site. They got 5 years. If they walk away, and we don't get it right, someone else is gonna come back and look at that site for 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, whatever it is. We're gonna need more power. We always need more power. That site's gonna continue to be something that they look at. So just want that's all I have to say.
Anyone else?
Jordan Phillips, 950 Jackson Road. Yeah. Joseph DeLacy, 9501 Dexter Chelsea Road. Um, a lot of what else was talked about is mostly financial, some potential liability. Social media is good, um, but this power plant, we're new to the area, and we are right in the maximum plume zone of where the toxins would fall from this power plant. So, taxes going down by from 1% to 1.5%. So that's great and all, but like I'd rather not die from cancer. You know, because I'm planning on being here for a while. And I really don't want to be somewhere where we're going to constantly be exposed to air pollutants where we would have an increased risk of cancer. That's not where I want to live. That's not something I want to concern myself about. A little bit of money here or there in the coffers, that's here or there, right? But like this will be long-term impact, and so I concur with my fellow residents that this is a major problem, and yeah.
Thank you.
Connie Augustine Mulliner, 14001 Jerusalem Road. I was here last week, and I'm here this week, and I've heard you mention a couple of times that you guys need help. You need people on committees. Where do we find out where the open spots are, and how can we get our names in those positions?
Leave anybody who's interested, leave your name when it comes to the end of the year, December, January, is where I fill committees that.
So you've got holes in committees that you can't?
There's no holes right now.
Okay.
I have to fill them by January.
Okay.
And
so all we do is get you our name, and then we're interested.
Yeah.
Okay. That's what I do. Thank you.
Thank you.
You had mentioned going to a meeting with like different mayors of all different communities and townships. Is this going to be on their agenda? Can they be part? I mean, I didn't know if that was.
That's interesting because the meeting's a Wednesday, and that probably won't be. It's been on every.
I wondered if like they would be able, since this is really just our township that's going to get polluted, if they would be willing.
This has been a shock to everybody, okay? And we're all going to go. I mean, out here, I've seen it on with Ann Arbor. I've seen it with Dexter in the know. Dexter residents in the know. I read all that. Ann Arbor. I read all that. It's concerning to them because it goes that way. There's concerns of why it's put here. And are there any more questions?
Yeah.
That's it.
So we were talking about committee. And I'm wondering, are you going to have from a committee to combat this power plant thing? Are you going to have an advisory committee who's going to look into how to defend ourselves against consumers' power?
Sounds like it's already been started.
It is. It's like, yeah, there's a lot of us that are really concerned.
I know I've talked to a few of you guys. One's not here tonight. The main doing the meeting together isn't here tonight. Those two I'd like to be in contact with. I talked to them. Other people who are informed of what's going on, and there are other people who are, and the more the merrier.
Yeah.
And there are people who have been down this road, and other people who are going to end up contacting us. The committee you guys have formed, you're going to draw more people into it, and those from the communication you're going to bring to us. And
We should keep it.
It's gonna be a team effort.
Yeah, for sure. I was at his farm yesterday, and we had a community meeting, which was awesome, by the way. And before that, I was like, getting heart palpitation. And after that, I was surprised at all these intelligent, capable people were there talking about, formulating a plan. And that really went a long way to making me feel better about what we're going to do. I know these are early days with these
Yeah.
guys. They haven't submitted any forms or anything. When they do submit forms, then I think it might be too late. They're going to have all their ducks in a row. We want them to back out gracefully, and then we can have this lady, we can help her also. But
Yeah.
this is dangerous for us. And
Yeah.
if this happens, our properties, our values are going to collapse. You're not going to give your property away. No one's going to. And I know a lot of us have everything we've got wrapped up into our properties. So yeah, we're all very, very concerned. This is like a bad threat to us. Do you think a ballot initiative for the township, maybe like?
It would have to be next year. It's a little late now.
Yeah, it's a little late now, but I mean, they're talking 2030, so maybe we can.
Yeah.
What do you think about it? What would a ballot initiative involve?
Signatures. You get a certain amount of signatures on what you want to vote on.
How should we?
It all depends on how you do
Would it be binding? Would it be able to pick them out?
it. No,
It's too late for that.
We got to get these guys out of here.
Yeah, it's money. A lot of it's money. Arlene, you got it. Okay, thank you.
Back to work. Arlene Space, Build Road, 14th Road, Development Road, mile. I have two things. I appreciate if you are doing work on conservation and preservation, because I feel like there are too large landowners here and some other towns that don't know what kind of preservation options are out there. And I think our residents need to know who's preserved their land already. We have two neighbors that have preserved their land for sure. Does anybody know about that?
Yeah.
I mean, and the programs are there, and I feel like Denise Thompson maybe didn't know about the options. She's elderly.
In my supervisory report.
Yeah.
No, if you listen, Arlene.
I did. You are doing, and I want to compliment you.
What I am putting together, and it's not new. This is not new. This has been addressed in Sharon Township. And attended one in Sharon Township, Sharon Freedom, Manchester. And then I got contacted them, and I want it done here, but I want it done. See, there's a new administration in the city of Chelsea, and they're doing. They're good people. They're not like the last administration. These people want to work with them, and so they're all for land preservation. And so I want to bring them in on the picture, Sylvan Township and Linden Township.
And if it's something people have to attend, they might not do it, but if we get it out there.
Well, this group is willing to make the handouts, and what it is it's not just large landowners. I got a guy on Jerusalem Road over here with 27 acres.
Right.
Going into a conservation easement. You can go 10 acres. Well, that's next to crap.
Yeah.
I got another neighbor doing, I think, 55 acres.
That's right. People don't know that it's available.
But this is what people need to get educated on.
Right.
Because I've already tried with, but it's not. It is not. There's how do I say it? It's not easy because you're dealing with 5 different entities. And that's where you're going to collect the money from, is these 5 different entities. And they all have a different protocol. They all have a different wish list.
Scioto has a million.
They have a PDR ordinance in Scioto, other township, Webster. That was addressed here back in the 90s and they voted down.
I was here.
And today, you wouldn't see half these houses around here if it was voted down. And at this point in time, even if that, let's just say 20 years and that does go through. If you could preserve everything around it, it shuts any expansion. It shuts any future expansion. But to me, the situation is, and this is what I wanted to tell you guys, I wanted to explain it to you. This started a year and a half ago. Sylvan Township and myself attended a meeting in Chelsea Chamber, or City of Chelsea, one of their meetings. Chelsea was trying to annex 209 acres south of 94. That was Sylvan and Lima Township. That's what this 425 with the master plan that you've talked very, you've heard about. Well, we stepped in and we joined each other, Sylvan and Lima, because something like that, it's in the master plan, is eventually, and it was asked to me, why would you have to have a master plan? Okay. Why are you letting it be undeveloped? We're not. If the city of Chelsea would have took that, they would have just kept going. Bonnie, they would have been in your front door in 5 years.
And that was
And
in it.
this is the way you try to keep control. You have to give a little to take the whole back.
And the person I had about that property.
Yeah, but see, the thing of it is that people need to be educated with the land preservations. There's so many of them.
Right. Because people don't know.
No, they don't, and that's what we should have been doing all along. And I feel guilty for that. I've been going one-on-one with farmers and open and other people.
The property along 94, I understand. No, I think it's 209.
209.
That represents, is that like 5 different owners? Is that, no, it's like.
Okay, now let me explain to this here, because when that was brought out at the Chelsea meeting, that they had $140,000 grant to investigate planning out that 209 acres. At that was a Monday night meeting. By Wednesday morning, an area farmer in Sylvan Township was addressed by Consumers Energy to option land over there. Consumers Energy already owns 110 acres in Sylvan Township. And what happened was them trying to annex jump-started what Consumers Energy was trying to do with future usage over there. This is how it all starts. And because consumer pipelines all go through there, they go right through here, you know. And so what their long-term thoughts was coming over because they were going to put up a battery storage facility. So what it was initiated, what and they have to have high power to feed it and pull from it. It was either Pierce Road or Lima Center. So they went here addressed for Lima Center. They needed 20 to 40 acres. That's it. And during negotiations, they were told all or nothing. So we ended up with 120. Okay, so this is where it's gone. And so let me tell you what's on that property. You got 2 pipelines, 3 pipelines. You got the power lines, and you got an easement going north, south, east, west. It's going to be targeted by everybody. And to me, if that option falls through in 3 years, 2028, then they got a year option.
2 years after that.
Okay. Even if it is, I've already talked to Denise about if it ever falls out, get it into land preservation. The thing of it is, people, when you talk about these easements and these conservation easements and these PDRs and stuff, it's not an overnight thing. With me, it took 3 years. And some people, they're shortened down to a year, and it's a lot of work and it's a lot of commitment. And but if it's something you want to do, when we have the meeting, we'll put you on as being invited. I don't care if you got 10 acres or 10,000. You know, and the big thing here is to preserve all the land that's around it, so there's no future use it for expansion. You know, you can't. You gotta. And I'm just explaining something that should have been brought up and has been 30 years ago. And so, for me to do it, but I've been one of the person to do it to see what results. I was fine with it, and I think. So, any other questions? Yes, sir.
Bob Swing. Two comments. One is that I would suggest that you have a meeting with the department. You could find somebody like Scott McElrath, who that is, Scott McElrath, who's an architect and is very familiar with this building in particular, but he designed a lot of stuff in the area. And he would be a good one to the board to listen to. The other thing, I just get ready for the firestorm because uh, Jeff Parnes has written letters to the board, not the board yet, but to the CEO, CFO, and the treasurer, Consumer Power, requesting meeting to discuss the resolution of this property. He says he gave him a week. He says, if you don't talk to me in a week, I've got contacts at Morgan Stanley, and you name it, New York City, and his wife is an attorney, partner in law.
Okay, this is the gentleman who was speaking at the
Yes.
podcast in the morning.
Yeah.
I want to meet him.
Yeah, he's the one. Yeah, he's the one that started the Nuance website.
Yeah.
And he says, I'm gonna start talking to him in a week, so you got a week to talk to him. So I think things are, since he formed that website a week, Saturday morning, things are moving pretty fast.
Thanks a
Yeah,
lot.
you do want to meet him. You do want to meet him.
Yeah. Well, Ken, well, we've been talking to him quite a bit. And we
He's got a
talked.
lot of connections, it seems.
I just want you to know he didn't come tonight because he took his wife's birthday off over this.
Are we done, Bill?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
One more? Go ahead, sir.
Now, piggybacking on what Bob said, Fred Lucas is currently the Lima Township legal representation. No?
Oh, Fred Lucas, yes, sir. I'm sorry.
Okay. So Fred Lucas also was the legal representation for Lima Township. And we saw how that ended with the data center. Fred Lucas was the legal representation for Bridgewater Township, and he was relieved of his duties this past November. I would encourage the board to look into different legal representations than Fred Lucas, because I don't think he has the wherewithal to stand behind everybody and do what needs to be done to prevent consumers' energy from coming in. Related to that note, circling back on the $200,000 that was promised to Thornton Farms, you mentioned that our attorneys have not been in touch with Fred.
Yeah.
Our attorneys sent a letter in February, and to my understanding, we have not received any correspondence since then. Can you please just elaborate as to what transpired at this May 14th meeting that you all discussed, and what you would like us to do to try and find a common ground so we can close the loop on this?
I'll let Greg talk.
We're not supposed to.
Well, because yeah. Well, I'll get a hold of Fred tomorrow and I'll rattle his cage and see what the hell's going on.
It's simple as that.
It's that simple, and that's what I'll do, because we've been in contact, but I just thought it was going after the meeting we had. So,
And has Fred reached out to our legal representation?
evidently they have,
Yes,
yes.
that's it.
Thank you very much. I appreciate what y'all are doing.
Thanks for the info.
I think as far as, our township hall are spending money, this should be tabled because this should be primary focus on what's happening in this township. I don't know if the building fund is completely separate, but if we have to use money for attorneys, multiple attorneys, that we need to not exhaust what we have here. And I think if there was a vote or if there was a questionnaire or survey, I'm wondering how many people would really want to start building right now, township hall, and not even have other things going on, and not the focus of what's happening here. Right. And there's a lot of people love this building too. sure. But I do want to ask that, the building fund, if we have to delve into money, is that a resource? Or would we consider selling the land that has been developed? Maybe that might be a thought. I just think that that's just something that we shouldn't be looking at currently.
What should we be looking at?
Building a new hall.
Okay, just another 30 years.
But that's what it takes because,
Thank you, Bill.
but right now we've been doing fine, haven't we? I wish what you folks would think about is getting some speakers so that a lot of us can hear. Not all of us have a voice that travels, probably, but, yeah, it's hard to hear a lot of you folks and what we have to say.
Come to the July meeting.
Okay,
There'll be 95 in here.
yeah, okay. Hey, you can
I
stay
think the
outside
general
on the
idea is
street.
we don't
Okay,
want,
thank you.
we don't want you spending the whole budget. We want to make sure the power plant thing gets addressed. I know we're trying to
Exactly,
make jokes right
yeah.
now, but it's not fun.
Okay, I understand.
No, you don't. The only thing you talked about was not spending, saving 60 grand in taxpayer money, when you were perfectly fine talking about $1 million or $2 million.
Is there any more public comment? Dwayne, sir, come on up.
Dwayne Wood, 10745 Jackson Road. First, I want to start off with a fact. Did the state electoral commission say you cannot hold elections there specifically, or you need to make some improvements? Because, like Greg said the last meeting, they came to us before and says you need handicap bathrooms, you need this, you need that. But I don't think you have to have them to have an election. And our ramp is not perfect, but it is accessible. So that's what I want to know, the facts on that one. And can you answer? Well, you can't answer. Never mind.
Yeah, because it's, board of trustees comments.
I can't answer that. Okay, I want to go on from there. When I was in as trustee, the sale came up, that was Bob Van Scoy's machine shop, and he owned the old train station. Some people who've been here a while know that, and he died. His family wanted to sell it. So the present supervisor at that time came to me as a trustee and said, look at this, we can put a fire department here. We should buy this property, but Bob wanted to sell everything, 16.9 both buildings. So that's how I found out that sale started. Over the years, it's been said, we bought it specifically for a new building. I don't think that's correct. But besides that, when I went to, and the board researched, a good architect we had, great drawings. This was a building 1880, the Methodist Church. It has a lot of history, and especially for me, my father was a clerk, I think 66 to 68. I was a kid. And talk about things changing. Him and I mowed the lawn here with a push mower. So, things were different then. We're a much smaller township. Now everything's changed so much. But there is another way to save this building and remodel it without putting the offices on it. I've thought about it a lot. If we keep the same footprint of the shed roof, but take it down, make this floor go straight out, we raise the roof out there, and we have the handicap bathrooms on this floor. We keep the entrance that's there right now, and it's grandfathered in. We keep the basement. Our new building had a 9-foot basement. Elevator was really nice, but it got up to budget and it was expensive. And appreciate Ken's thought of the new building. I got my license in '81 to build it. I know new buildings are good too. But whatever we do, if we had this building restored, we had a handicap and got air in here, it would be like brand new. We have a perk site, put a new well in. We could rent it out for small parties. We could have a township fee for residents, and we could preserve it. And it would be, I think, historic, like Webster has that, and Dexter has a small museum. But it's just something to think about for the board when we're talking about kicking around a new building again or a remod. which we have for a long time. It never happened, unfortunately. So, and I'm totally against the power plant. I went from my house, when the leaves are down, I'll be looking right across the Louis Farm, right at Thompson's on the east side of power plant. So it's disheartening. But what I did on my own before Nuance started is I called, uh, help me out, Dale. It was Sierra Club. The friendly Colorado to me, they are very powerful. They helped him stop the development out there. And I talked to Stephen. He's going on vacation this week, but he says petitions are good for the township to do. And I'm going to get a copy of one and bring it to the board and all the residents I can. And if we can get that signed, we'll have something to show consumers. Hey, look, we don't want this.
If you need help, I'm sure that people will.
Yeah. Thank you.
Do we have any more public comments?
I'll finish it out. I'll be quick. Pick up Jacob Fresh Farm.
Young man, approach the podium. You are no different than the rest. I made Dwayne come all the way up.
I walk about as good as him. So I'm Jacob Fresh Farm, 475 North Left Road. Just two quick comments. First off, we are a all natural farm, organic methods. If a power company comes in, I don't know how I, in good conscience, could sell produce and fruit to our customers without healthy produce and fruit to their families. That is a that's going to be quite a lot of thinking and dialogue to figure that out. Secondly, we have a group on Facebook called Citizens of Lima Township. Please jump on if you haven't signed up. We're also in the process of making signs like you see at corners to stop the power plant. They're going to be $13 a piece. We're getting the first 100 printed off in the next week or so. And then if there's more demand for that, we will gladly print them off. Reach out to me privately if you would like them, and we'll just probably have to pick up at the farm. So thank you guys.
Okay, this time we're gonna move to the Board of Trustees, not comments and concerns. With that? Okay. Okay. Thanks, everybody, for coming, man. And don't give up. Keep your group, keep communication. And the more people you got to fight it, the better off you're gonna be. Don't think we're just sitting here, sitting on our hands. I don't take that. I've lived here my whole damn life. And that's the last thing I'm gonna have, some power company. We bought consumer power back in '68. And yeah, it was hard back in '68 when the power pipes came. Didn't make it, but we sure did make them spend some money. But we got a tough road to hoe, and I commend you guys for starting what you're doing, and keep your head up and let's stay strong. And I'll take a motion to adjourn.
Second.
I'm moving second and to adjourn. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Seeing none? Meeting.